Hey, what is up, Satsmate Stackers? In this podcast, I'm going to talk about how people are truly sick trying to impress others. Now, I'll tell you, I've been following this tariff stuff pretty closely. I've been following a lot of things that have been going on over the past couple of years in the economy, and I am just shocked by what I'm seeing. Now, the purses is one thing. We saw the tariffs come out, and we saw how a lot of these Hermes and Louis Vuitton purses are really made. They're made in these sweatshops, guys, and they're made in sweatshops in China. They get sent to Italy for their final touch, and then it's made in Italy, right? And so, like, I find it mind blowing that people are willing to spend over $1,500 to $3,000 on a lot of these handbags, purses, designer clothes, and stuff. When we all know how it's made, it's all made in the same sweatshops in China or Vietnam or Indonesia, and our consumeristic society, we don't look deeper than the surface, right? Once when you peel the onion back, you can see how things are really made, and I'm sure you wouldn't be happy when you see that. So it's just mind blowing to me what the reality of the situation is and why people are always trying to impress others with these $3,000 handbags when they're really just made with slave labor in China. Now, another thing I see a lot of people doing is hosting a lot of these over-the-top parties. They do catering, they rent venues, they do things for the gram. And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing a party here or there, but I think there's some times where it's like, what are we celebrating? Like, do we need to celebrate every single weekend? Do we need to celebrate every single month? Like, maybe celebrate, once a year. Or maybe if you get a big accomplishment completed, right? Why throw another party for another, birthday, right? I mean, a lot of it can be like, why don't we focus more on building and really working to make the best lives for ourselves and the people we care about instead of a nonstop celebration? So I think there's a lot of people that throw over the top parties. Well, I think it's good to celebrate and live in the moment sometimes. I also think there's situations where it can be over the top. Now, my one vice, and I'm not perfect, but my one vice is international vacations. I truly love traveling. I love these vacations, something I love to do. And I think, I genuinely don't do it to impress others. Sometimes I like to be like, oh yeah, I've been here, I've been there. But I genuinely like the experience of traveling, seeing the world, and then getting to meet different cultures, try different foods, different beers from around the world. Like, it's a lot of fun, and I love that. So, I don't do it to impress others. I know a lot of people do. They'll, do a big Snapchat, Instagram reel where they are just traveling nonstop. As I get older, I'm becoming less and less interested in social media and more interested in finding my passion and doing what I love. Another thing I know a lot of people do is exclusive gyms, country clubs, and memberships. Now, there is some value, I think, if you're going to actually use them to their full capacity. But oftentimes people will sign up for these things and they'll just do it as a status symbol. Like, oh, I'm part of this club or I'm part of this gym. And it's like, for what? Like, what are you getting the value out of it? So for the country clubs, maybe you're getting value out of it if you're doing sales, right? And you have to take clients to go golfing and try to close a deal. Okay, maybe that makes sense. But like, are you just doing it to brag to your neighbors that you're part of this community? If so, cut it. What's the purpose of it? People don't care. People are in their own lives. And in the end, focus on your own financial autonomy and independence. Luxury cars is another thing. I love vehicles. And it's funny. I love cars, I feel like, more than most people. I've been a Forza player my whole life. I've always loved cars. My dad had a Cadillac Eldorado from the 60s. Like, and my grandpa has a Model A from 1927. And so I genuinely love cars. And it's funny because for how much I love cars, you would look at me and you'd be like, this guy does not like cars that much, because I drive a 2015 Honda Accord. Well, guess what? It's paid off. I don't owe a penny on it. And I feel great. I feel great not owing other people money, and it makes me sleep better at night. I do think people buy cars because they want to show off. They want to show how successful they are. They like the status of it. But in the end, an accident can come out of nowhere, or it can easily get dinged, or You pay higher insurance. You have to worry about people keying it. There's a lot of things that can happen. So I think don't buy cars to impress others. Buy cars because you like them and you're going to get the value out of them. Kind of the same thing with the sales. If you're taking out clients, maybe it's worth investing in that Tesla or Mercedes for 80 grand. But if you're just doing a corporate job, driving into the office, what's the point? What's the point? I do see a lot of people nowadays also doing like buying front row Taylor Swift tickets, getting these really nice Coachella tickets. I think like we all have things we like to spend money on, but if you have to finance your ticket, and I did this in one of my previous podcasts, but if you have to finance your ticket, maybe you shouldn't be going. Like, that's really sad that 60% of people finance a Coachella concert, and many people are probably doing the same with Taylor Swift tickets, front row, for $1,000, $2,000. Just try to avoid anything like that, because at the end of the day, it sets you back in life. And unless you really, 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 truly love the artist, like, is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Every other year, people also try to upgrade their phones, their laptops, their iPads, their devices. And at the end of the day, it's like they're keeping you on that consumerism hamster wheel. There's only so much, improvements they're making every year, right? Some of these phones you get. It's funny. It's been 3 years, and I can't tell the difference between the new phone and this one that I have right now. Like, maybe there's a couple tweaks, but they look exactly the same. And I think it's getting harder and harder for them to make improvements on some of these phones now. And it's like, why do you need to upgrade every year or two, right? Is it to show off? I don't know. So I think, like, another thing people are looking at is, like, I even think fancy jewelry, that's, like, kind of crazy. It can get lost. I know people actually, relatives, in fact, that actually had their tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars of jewelry stolen. And it's like, okay, even if it wasn't stolen, even if it's like just misplaced or lost, like, what, like, why? Do you genuinely like love that jewelry? I don't know. It's a very materialistic thing, I think. So yeah, most people, in my opinion, they just need to stay humble, stack sats, be chill, and not try to focus and chase all these ways to impress others. Now more than ever, we're living in a very high time preference society. We're all trying to pull our consumption forward and live for today, for tomorrow doesn't exist. But, the thing about being a high time preference is it feels good now. It's like eating the donut or eating the McDonald's. Like, of course it's going to feel good in the moment. But are you going to feel good 4 hours from now? Hell no. You're not going to feel good. You're going to regret it. Same thing with buying a nice car, living in a nice neighborhood, paying a high HOA, getting that nice luxury car or gym. It's going to feel good in the moment, but instead of it being like a 4-hour turnaround where you regret it, it'll be a 9-month to 2-year turnaround where you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. That set me back. I don't have as much freedom to travel. I don't have as much freedom to do this or that now. And you just kind of put your own golden handcuffs on yourself, right? And so we already are handcuffed enough as society with all the debt our society's in and our high taxes. And, there's a lot of things that can keep us just completely under. But I think, why do we need something else to do that, right? If you can easily afford that Mercedes for 80 grand, do it. If you can easily afford, fancy jewelry or front row tickets, do it. But I'm saying, like, there's the point of this podcast is, like, people are sick trying to impress others. And I think it's so important to not care what others think and to do things on terms that suit you. Because in the end, you have to live with the decisions you make, and friends come and go. Acquaintances come and go. And random people come and go. Don't ever do things to impress others. And I think if you can live by that, you will be very successful. It's not sustainable in the end and over the long run to sacrifice tomorrow for the expense of today. Plant those seeds, start working now, and try to live the best life you possibly can. Anyways, guys, if you like this, feel free to share it. Leave a like, comment, Also, feel free to also, if you want, share it. The links in the description, they help support my channel, my podcast. Feel free to click any of those, and I will see you guys in the next one.